The movie begins with Seth waking up early and going to his job at an animal control shelter, where he cares for the dogs. On his bus ride home, he notices Holly, a girl writing in a notebook. He approaches her, calling her by name, which surprises her as she doesn't recognize him. Seth explains they went to the same high school and that she was popular. He inquires if she's a writer, but she says she's a waitress. The conversation is awkward, and Holly exits the bus before Seth can ask her out. Seth finds Holly's Facebook profile and discovers she's single. He asks a security guard, Nate, for advice on how to win her over, but Nate is reluctant and simply suggests being confident. At work, Seth discovers an abandoned room in the animal control facility. He obsessively stalks Holly's profile, noting her likes and dislikes. The next day, Seth rehearses how to talk to Holly and then goes to the restaurant where she works. When he reminds her of their meeting on the bus, she claims not to recognize him, making the situation awkward. He compliments her hair, increasing her discomfort. Later, Seth asks Holly out to her favorite singer's concert, but she refuses, stating she has a boyfriend. Seth disbelieves her, and she leaves the receipt and walks away, visibly unsettled. Holly, feeling followed by Seth, tells her roommate Claire about the creepy encounter. Her ex, Eric, calls drunk, wanting to see her, but she refuses. Claire encourages Holly to forgive Eric, but Holly is reluctant. The next day, Holly receives roses at work with a Be Mine card. At the bar where Eric works, she confronts him about the roses, but he denies sending them. Eric wants to reconcile, but Holly is hesitant due to his past infidelity. Seth arrives and eavesdrops on their conversation. Later, Seth admits to sending the roses, revealing he recognizes her from the restaurant. Holly is furious. When Seth persists, Holly calls Eric, who punches Seth. Eric throws Seth out, but Seth finds and steals Holly's diary. Seth reads Holly's diary and is disturbed by her secrets. Holly worries about her lost diary and tells Claire. Seth discovers a secret basement at work and builds a cage there using online tools and a WikiHow tutorial. He tests a dog sedative on himself. Later, Holly, sensing she's being followed, mistakenly pepper sprays a homeless man while Seth watches. Seth breaks into Holly's home. At work, Seth attempts to smuggle Holly's body in a box but is confronted by Nate, to whom he lies about a late-night delivery. Holly wakes up trapped in a cage, horrified and unable to escape. Her screams are unheard due to barking dogs. Seth arrives, claiming he's doing this for her own good, but doesn't provide food. Days later, Holly is in bad shape, and Seth brings water and food. She begs him not to leave, but he insists on boundaries. Holly hallucinates Claire, who warns her that Seth will kill her and provokes her to fight back. The next day, Seth tells Holly he doesn't want to force himself on her, hoping he won't have to kill her, and that he's doing this to save her. He believes her true self is hidden and wants to uncover it to see if she can be saved. Seth encounters Nate after leaving the basement, denying he was sneaking around. Inside, Holly discusses her plan to wait with Claire's hallucination. The next day, Seth confronts Holly with her diary, claiming he read it out of sympathy, especially regarding her entries about love. He reveals he's heard her speaking in two voices, implying he knows about Claire. Holly sees Claire behind Seth but denies her presence. Seth reveals to Holly that Claire is a figment of her imagination. Holly and Eric were once engaged, but he cheated on her with Claire, Holly's best friend. A flashback reveals Holly confronting Claire about the betrayal, leading to a car accident where Holly kills Claire with a shard of glass. In the present, Seth recounts these events to Holly, who claims it's fiction. Seth reveals he followed her and witnessed her committing brutal murders, establishing her as a serial killer. Despite everything, Seth insists that he locked her up to save her and prevent further harm. Holly, moved by this, pleads for him to save her. After Seth departs, Claire commends Holly's acting, revealing the act was to deceive Seth into believing she could be saved. The following day, Seth questions Holly about the murders, including why she didn't stop at Claire. Holly's disturbing reply is that she did it simply because she could. She then begins hitting her head against the cage, causing herself to bleed. she threatens to kill herself, implicating Seth due to his fingerprints being all over the place. Alarmed, Seth goes upstairs to work, where his superior reprimands him for neglecting his cleaning duties. Nate reported that he hadn't seen Seth in 2 days. Seth receives a disciplinary notice and a warning that he will be fired if his performance doesn't improve. Concerned about losing his job, Seth assures his superior it won't happen again. Seth goes to the basement through an abandoned room, noticed by Nate. He gives Holly chocolate as food for her previous actions. Holly manipulates Seth, claiming she dreamt of them living happily together, which softens Seth's heart. He agrees to get her snacks. Nate, suspicious, enters the abandoned room and discovers the secret basement. He is horrified to find Holly locked in a cage. Holly is happy to see Nate and urges him to quickly break the lock. Nate desperately tries to unlock it, but unfortunately, Seth returns with the snacks and is shocked to see him. But surprisingly, Holly notices him, and instead gestures for Seth to kill Nate. Seth hesitates, but when Holly begins speaking about how true love requires sacrifice to Nate, Seth immediately strikes Nate on the head, before brutally stabbing him multiple times. Despite the brutal attack, Nate is still alive, so Holly urges Seth to finish him off with a cinder block. Seth hesitates at first, but under her pressure he finally gives in and smashes the poor man's head and kills him. Seth, overwhelmed by guilt, follows Holly's instructions to dispose of a body. He removes the teeth and fingerprints to prevent identification, mutilates the body, feeds it to dogs, and incinerates the remains. Guided by Holly, Seth reports to his superior that the deceased, Nate, left him in charge and never returned. He disposes of the teeth in a river, eliminating any trace of the crime. Seth is consumed by guilt, but Holly insists it gets easier, claiming they were both born to do this. Seth argues he acted to prevent Holly from committing more crimes and pleads with her to change so they can live a normal life together. Holly attempts to seduce Seth, but he refuses, leading her to accuse him of not loving her. Seth insists he does, but Holly's distress causes him to leave. A detective questions Seth about Nate's disappearance. Seth claims Nate left after a phone call, but the detective finds inconsistencies in his story. No one left the building that night, and Nate's phone records show no call. Seth tries to appear innocent, but it's clear he's struggling. Later, Seth tries to feed Holly, but she refuses to eat, still upset about his rejection. This continues for days. Holly tells Seth he can't save her and demands proof of true love, cutting off a finger. Seth initially refuses, horrified. Holly manipulates him, saying she thought he'd be there for her. As Seth leaves, Holly tells him not to return if she's just a pet. Deeply affected, Seth returns with a knife and begins severing his finger, while Holly watches with amusement. After being freed by Seth, who succumbs to Holly's threat to slit her own throat, Holly tells Seth she loves him because he saved her before killing him with a kiss and a slice to the throat. Afterward, Holly returns to Eric and they live together. Holly becomes a published writer, writing a story inspired by her own life. When Holly sees a message on Eric's phone revealing he is cheating on her again, she contemplates killing him but suppresses the urge. Holly visits an abandoned warehouse where she finds Seth held captive in a cage. She tells him she almost hurt Eric, but stopped because she thought of Seth. It's revealed that Seth is severely mutilated. Holly channels her murderous urges onto Seth instead of killing others. Seth saved Holly at the cost of his freedom and life. Here is the end. Please tell us if you like this content. Thank you for watching.